So there's a topic that you are going to do in mathematics grade 12, which is called calculus. Calculus is all about deriving or differentiating. So when you differentiate or you derive, you always use one rule, which is what? Exponent multiplied by coefficient, exponent minus 1. I'm repeating, we are always going to work with a rule that says exponent multiplied by coefficient, exponent minus 1. Now let's check something. Say I'm giving a function here, y is equals to what? Y is equals to x squared. And they say to me, derive or differentiate this function with respect to x. Remember we said we are going to work with what? Exponent multiplied by coefficient, exponent minus 1. Now let's check. If they say to us, derive this function with respect to x, in other words, I am going to say y prime is equals to, remember our rule is what? Exponent multiplied by coefficient, exponent minus 1. Now let's check here. What is exponent? Exponent is 2. What is coefficient? Coefficient is 1. Then I will start by saying exponent multiplied by coefficient. Meaning here I will have what? 2 multiplied by 1, which is what? 2x. And then remember I say exponent minus 1. In other words, I have to go back to my exponent and minus 1. This will be what? 2 minus 1, of which this is y prime is equals to what? 2x to the power of 1. What is 2 minus 1? Is 1. Let's do another example. Say, or I have y is equals to, let's say 3x squared plus what? Plus 4x. Remember they say to me, derive or differentiate with respect to what? To x. In other words, I must only check the exponent of what? The components of x. In this case, I now have two components of x, which is what? 3x squared plus 4x. Now let's check something. Remember I said we are going to say what? Y prime. This is equals to what? What is the exponent in this case? Is 2. What is the coefficient? Is 3. Meaning I'm going to say what? 2 multiplied by 3, which is equals to what? 6. X to the power of what? Remember I must say exponent minus 1. Meaning I'm going back to the exponent and say 2 minus what? 1. Plus what? Plus, now let's check. What is the exponent in this case? Is 1. What is the coefficient? Is 4. Meaning I'm going to say 1 multiplied by 4 is equals to what? 4. X to the power of what? Remember I must say 1 minus 1. Then if I simplify, I'm left with what? Y prime is equals to 6x to the power of what? To the power of 1 plus what? 4x to the power of 1 minus 1. What is 1 minus 1 is 0. X to the power of 0 is equals to 1, because any number to the power of 0 is 1. Meaning here I'm left with what? With 4. Meaning our y prime is equals to 6x plus what? Plus 4. Now let's check the importance of this deriving or differentiating. Sorry for that. Let's check something. Let me erase using my hand. Say, my friend, remember something. Remember something. This importance of deriving or differentiating is to find the coordinates of the turning point. If you want to find the coordinates of the turning point, it's either you use the usual way that you are used to, which is xtp is equals to minus b over what? Over to a. You get the x coordinate of your turning point's coordinate. Then how to get the ytp? You sub the ytp, you sub what? You sub xtp into the original equation to get the value of what? Of x. Because y is the dependent variable and x is the independent variable. Meaning in order for me to find the value of ytp, I must first get the value of what? Xtp. Now let's find the coordinates of the turning point doing what? Doing deriving. Let's check something. Say here, remember the equation of a parabola, or the general form of the parabola is given by y is equals to what? Ax squared plus what? Plus bx plus what? Plus c. In order for me to find the coordinates of the turning point, I must derive or differentiate and equate to 0. I must derive with respect to what? To x. Now let's check something. If I derive this equation, I'm going to say y prime is equals to, remember, I must say exponent multiplied by coefficient and exponent minus 1. In this component, what is the exponent? The exponent is 2. What is the coefficient? The coefficient is a. Meaning I will say 2 multiplied by what? By a, which is what? 2a. X to the power of what? Of 2 minus 1. Plus, let's check. What is the what? Let's check here. What is the value of the exponent? Is 1. What is the coefficient? Is b. Meaning I'm going to say 1 multiplied by b, which is what? bx to the power of what? Of 1 minus 1. When you derive the constant is always equals to 0. Meaning here I have what? I have 0. If I simplify my equation here, I have y prime is equals to what? 2ax plus what? Plus b. Remember I said after deriving, you must equate to what? To 0 to find the value of the what? X coordinate of the turning point. Now let's check. I am going to equate this equation to what? To 0 and solve for x. This is going to be 0 is equals to what? 2ax plus what? Plus b. In order for me to solve for x, I must make x subject of the what? Of the formula. In other words, I have minus b, which is equals to 2ax. Let's check something. For me to solve for x, I must divide both sides by what? By 2a. Divide by what? By 2a. This one cancel this one, and then I'm left with what? Let's check. X in this case will be equals to minus b over what? Over 2a. Thank you very much.